Today, I have a really amazing guest for you. Actually, it's a friend, it's a guest. Um, without further ado, let me introduce you to Linda, the ghost hunter. Hi, Linda.
Hi, Patti.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me. I think it's funny that we have such a hard time meeting in Los Angeles, but here we are.
Here we are on internet together. You guys may recognize Linda. We've done work together with Elton Castille and the TFIL guys, but where you really might recognize Linda is from the Ellen show. And I'm going to ask you a little bit about that, if that's okay, because I turn on Ellen. You, Ellen, Andy, you've been to Ellen's personal home, right? You've done the Queen Mary with Andy and all sorts of fun things.
Yes, actually, I was at Ellen's producer's home. That's how I was brought onto the show originally. Her producer had a very haunted place, and they were looking for a ghost hunter. And thank you, they picked me, and it was great.
That is awesome. I mean, start at the top. But so you have been in this. So for anybody who doesn't know you, you do tours, you do investigations. You're total a tech geek, which is so cool because I don't do technology. But how did you even get into this world of being Linda the ghost hunter? Worldwide known.
Well, it was an accident. I think that's how a lot of this stuff happens, right? You don't choose to have this happen. I think it's meant to be, is the best way to put it. Years ago, some of my very good friends owned the restaurant, the Cat and Fiddle, on Sunset. I don't know if you ever hung out there at all, but
of course,
yeah. Patti and I have also crossed circles for years. How we have never met, I'm not sure. But anyway, so basically they had a real problem there. They were losing staff and things were flying through the air, and they were having paranormal stuff happening at a very, very big extreme, to the point of poltergeist. And for those of you who don't know what poltergeist actually means, it means when things have the ability to fly through the air. That's how powerful the spirit is. And I have always been intuitive, but kind of kept that to myself because it just makes you so cool to be intuitive. Yes, I'm being sarcastic. So I kind of kept it to myself, but they were very good friends of mine and they knew I was intuitive, and they said, "Can you help with this situation?" And I said, "Hey, absolutely not. No way. Scared of ghosts. This is never going to happen." And they would not, lay off. They were really in a bind. So they said, "I have a friend of mine who I went to high school with that's also intuitive. What if the two of you went into this together and you could kind of protect each other?" And that's how it all began. I did an investigation there, which led to more investigations, which led to many investigations over the years. And I got incredible evidence, and we were able to clear it, at least most of it. But to this day, here's what's interesting. Ever since they closed the Cat and Fiddle on Sunset, no one has been able to stay in there longer than 1 year. Very haunted location. Mm-hmm. Very haunted.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Wow. That is a trip. So what do you think it is that's in there? This is a cool old building for everybody in the heart of Hollywood.
Heart of Hollywood. It's where all the old rockers used to hang out. The owner was an English guy who was in the original Birds. And there was, like, from Rod Stewart to you name it. Anybody 60s, 70s, 80s rockers used to hang there. And after Kim, the owner, died, I think he stayed there, but he's one of the good ones. There is an entity, a woman who's very strong and very evil. And she pushed me down. She broke my nose. And I was never able to clear her. And I think she just comes back over and over and over again.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, well, she broke your nose. So you have war wounds from this.
I too. She was a meanie. Yeah.
So do you think it's a portal there or something? Or do you think just all the energy that has created it, of all the stuff going on there?
I think, I think there's very good spirits in there. I think there are the old rockers, and I think it's got the great energy, and that's what made you want to drink in there. But whatever was there before, which we were never able to find out all the reincarnations of the location, but whatever was there was something that people were very unhappy that worked there or lived there or whatever it was. There was a negative energy to it for sure.
Wow, that's a trip. So what is, I love it. I mean, didn't love that you broke your nose, but what is the scariest thing that in this career as a ghost hunter, a known ghost hunter, what is the scariest thing that ever happened to you?
Well, coming clean, Patty, I think you know this about me. I'm scared of ghosts. So
I,
every ghost hunt is scary for me. It's my way of facing my fears. But I mean, I've had some amazing things happen. Recently, at an event we both were at, when we were at the Biltmore Hotel, I got called out pretty hard. And I wouldn't say that was scary, but I felt like my real private life was being exposed by ghosts. I mean, they were saying personal things about me and they were really letting stuff out. And you're like upstairs. I hear you guys all laughing. And these ghosts are like telling on me kind of. And I'm like, okay. So that wasn't scary, but it was very awkward. Let's put it that way.
yes, yes. And that was an event we did with the TFIL guys with Elton and
Yeah.
Corey.
Yeah.
It was a live public event that people could get a ticket and come to, and they came from everywhere, all over the country and even Canada. This small group of people, they got to experience you, they got to experience me, they got to experience Elton and Corey and all that entails, and it was great. It
was so fun. It was such a fun thing to do. It really was.
Yeah, so getting called out. Yeah, it goes to know, like, that's a secret. You're not supposed to tell that.
I know. It's like, that's Linda, not Linda, the ghost hunter you're talking about here. My other entity.
No boundaries, no boundaries.
Exactly.
But see, we both like a challenge. I'm less afraid of ghosts than you, just because, again, I've been talking to them since I was a little kid, and we'll get that to about you. But I like a challenge. I like to get scared. I like going into something that's way over my head and whatever that is. And you seem to be the same way on that, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think we like adventure. I think the two of us really like adventure, but you are definitely, let's just say this for the record, you are 10 times more courageous than I am. I mean, you touch a Ouija board, I won't go near a Ouija board. Something too bad starts happening and I have to stay cool for everybody else. And inside I'm like, whoo,
That is funny. And speaking of, so again, we try to work together, but we keep getting separated. We'll be in the same location. We did that at the Cecil Hotel when we did that with Elton. And we were just talking off camera about the rats at the Cecil. To heck with the ghosts, there's a whole lot of rats there inside.
Oh my God. So, okay, my number one fear, forget ghosts. I am deathly afraid of rats. When I was a little girl, I had a horrible experience. We had bought a new house in Northern California, and it was, brand new construction, and there was no other houses around us. So I remember I was a little girl sound asleep, and something, ran across my chest. I still, when I talk about it, get the chills, and it was a huge rat. And I started screaming, and unfortunately, our house was just being attacked by rats because we were the only house, And I developed such a phobia of rats, from that point forward. And so here we get to the Cecil. And, I think don't you find this as a spiritualist, when you're afraid of something, they are drawn to you. There is no question about it. So nobody else will see a rat. I'll be in a restaurant. This will happen to me. And way across the restaurant, I'm like, I just saw a rat run across. No one else sees it but me. So here we show up at the Cecil, and, they're supposed to be letting us in. And these rats are just running in front of me. And I'm like, I called up. I'm like, Elton, if you do not let me in right away, I have to run away. I can't stay here. And I was so afraid because remember, we were supposed to do October, November there. Yes. And I thought, how am I going to deal with all these rats, But it never happened.
No, it never happened because, and this is a whole other story, they decided to rent it out for low income and homeless people in Chapter 8 stuff, which scares the hell out of me. I'm just that place is so dark, so negative. It causes such depression and just hopelessness. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's move in people who may have addiction problems and mental imbalances and already live in hopelessness. It's a Stephen King something in the making.
What? We'll see it unfold. I'm sure we're going to be seeing this on the news very soon.
What I want to do, and I should have done this earlier. You know how all these people gathered up and they went to Area 51 to whatever they were going to do, storm play. What if we got every healer, witch, psychic, medium, shaman, Reiki master, priest, rabbi, and we all kind of like held hands around the Cecil Hotel, to help those damn people. I think people would come. I think
All
people
right,
would.
I'm 100% in. I'll bring a couple cats with me on a leash, and
Okay,
then I'll feel
they're
and then I'll feel completely safe from all the rodentia that might be coming near me.
yeah, and that place leaks out. I did right across the street. And this Skid Row, it's funky downtown, but downtown is funky. There'll be a
Yeah.
high-end apartment building, expensive high-end concierge door right across the street from the Cecil. The door, you step over people to get to the doorman. And I recently cleared a house there, but a bunch of stuff was oozing up from the ground from the Cecil there.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
I don't think it's just the Cecil. I really feel that the amount of mental illness and things that surround that particular area of downtown, we kind of talked about this earlier, but I would love to go into the Alexandria Hotel,
Yes.
which is just down the street. And I think that we would find much of the same energy any place we go around there because of this negative energy that just surrounds that part of downtown. It's very negative. I don't know what was originally there, but somebody either jinxed that area, put a hex on it, or something really bad happened there. I don't know.
I think all of the above. Again, in the upscourge of it, the depression hit and all that stuff like that happened with the Cecil and probably the Alexandria and other hotels. Plus, who knows? Everybody goes into the Native American burial ground. This was Indian land. This really was Indian land.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know if it's some kind of, I'm not an expert on such things like ley lines and grids and stuff like that, but it's something. It's definitely something bigger than just this building here or this building here.
Agreed. I mean, I feel Griffith Park is the same way. There's so much negative energy there. I do quite a few tours at the old zoo, and I know that there was a hex put on Griffith. And you feel it there. Talk about a portal. I mean, that area is that's another area where I always feel like, whoa, something really bad's around here. You feel it all the time.
Yes, and that old zoo especially, you feel the animals, the good, the bad, and the ugly, everything there. And what I've discovered in LA, where we live, there's these hills that go through it, the Hollywood Hills all the way down to Malibu.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of literal vortex portals in these hills, probably in downtown too. There's one right in Griffith Park that I don't even think you have to be a psychic or medium to feel. It's not marked or anything, but the energy coming up, they're like little earth belly buttons of energy that just enhance everything. Every time I have ever been to this little spot in the middle of Griffith Park, there have been, actors acting, lovers kissing, nuns praying. It draws in people. That's kind of a nice one. I honestly think that Hollywood is right where Hollywood is because of this portal right there, because that's a very creative one. And so that's why Hollywood's not 50 miles this way or 50 miles that way. It got encircled, literally. Hollywood, Burbank, both the entertainment capitals around this vortex brought the dreamers, the writers, the actors, the musicians, the dancers, the singers. But those little portals go all the way up through West Hollywood, into Malibu, into the canyons. And I think that's why people come to LA. They love it or hate it. They love it or hate it. And paranormal stuff is going to always be increased, enhanced.
Agreed. I agree with you 100% on that. Yeah.
So you're an LA girl way back. Besides, we work with TFIL and you get to do Ellen, and that's pretty awesome. We did one thing together, right? Discover Hollywood. Didn't somebody do an article on both?
Yes, that's how the first time we talked. Yeah. So we both got written up. I guess was it like 3-4 years ago?
Yeah.
They did an article on the two of us, and I'm like, I've heard about Patti. Like I've heard about you, And then I'm like, well, this is interesting because one of my neighbors knew you and said, she's a neighbor. And I'm like, oh, I'll have to give her a buzz. And we talked about, having drinks or something years ago, and it never happened. But we're obviously meant to meet, We're
definitely meant to meet because, neighbors, right, in the neighborhood and everything. And the people who Discover Hollywood magazine, Nyla and Oscar Arslanian, are dear, dear friends of mine. I've been on the board of the Hollywood Arts Council with them for years. So,
oh, wow. Okay.
It's so cool. They go like, and now we have Linda. And now we finally got together. But we are due for a reunion.
Yes, we are
It's
100%.
silly
Alcohol must
damn
be
COVID.
involved for sure. Yes.
Silly damn COVID thing. So again, going back, you are a Hollywood girl, a local girl. I know, even just looking on your website, which I'm going to send people to, you've done things like with like Lucille Ball connected in, Michael Jackson, Liz Taylor. Tell us some of your Hollywood stories.
Well, when I was a young, struggling artist myself, I became a celebrity photographer. And this was way, way prior to paparazzi. And, I was really young. I was fresh out of, was going to UCLA, and a professor of mine took a real liking to me, my photography teacher, and said, here's what could happen. You can get your degree in photography, but you have a talent I very seldom see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook you up with the publisher of People magazine, and you can go out and make a living now, or you could stay in college. It's really up to you. And you know what? I was not a student. I did not like school. So I'm like, yeah, I want to be a photographer. I want to go out. I want to do this. So I'm a baby, and I'm out there. And these celebrities really took a liking to me because I was so young, And when I was a little girl, we had the I Love Lucy, and then we had the Lucy Show, and we had, a lot of Lucy. And I used to always say to my mom, I wish Lucy was my mom whenever my mom spanked me or was mean to me, back in the day where parents did spank us and did not go to jail for doing that. Yeah. So anyway, so that was kind of our ongoing joke. And we really became very close friends towards the end of her life. And I did all of her grandkids' birthday parties, and I did a lot of events for her. I shot for her, and she was just as amazing as you thought she'd be, but she was a tough broad. She was not full of BS. She was the real thing. If she liked you, she loved you. If she did not like you, I would not want to be on Lucy's bad side. Let's just say that, and so she was an incredible part of my career. She was one of the people that made my career. She got me on the Bob Hope show, and she hooked me up with Johnny Carson and just with all her friends and kept me working.
That's amazing. That is that is the ultimate. You always start at the top, girl.
Well, yeah, I guess I do. Yeah, but then sometimes you end up at the bottom. But I always work my way back up.
It's Philly City. We go up, we go down.
We go up, we go down. That's life. That's life in the fast lane. Yeah, but it was a great part of my life, and I was a celebrity photographer. It bought me the house in the Hollywood Hills that I lived in for 25 years, and I did it for over 20 years. And one day when the paparazzis took over and it lost its charm, I no longer wanted to do it.
Excuse me. Wow. You. Thank you. I was like, don't sneeze, don't.
Uh-oh, you're frozen.
Are we frozen?
Yeah, you were for a sec.
Are we frozen? Are we back?
You're stuck somewhere.
Hold on. Okay. We're back.
Okay.
No, every time you do this, it blocks me this.
Maybe it's all our energy.
I'm sure it's all our energy. Doesn't this always happen? Now, you're an equipment girl. You know this. I know this. We both do TV, how cameras drain and cell phones drain, and professional cameras drain.
Yes. Yes.
Even tech and phones and I don't get along. Computers and I don't get along. Never have. Watches and I literally have to wear 2 watches, good watches, so one of them maybe will have somewhere near the correct time, which usually one's fast, one's slow, and switching depending on which arm they have. So it amazes me that you even call yourself a geek, that you're a tech geek, and I have seen your equipment. You have amazing ghost stuff.
I am a tech geek, and I will tell you this is interesting. I can't wear a watch because the batteries drain. So I, have not been able to wear a watch in 20 something years.
Isn't that weird?
The stronger I get spiritually.
It's our energy that shows that we're not just, let's take a liking to this weird paranormal world. We're intuitive, that thing that we have. We're these high vibration people with this weird gift. Mine, I probably shouldn't wear a watch, but I like watches. So one always goes slow and one always goes fast. Right now they're 20 minutes different, and the reality is mixed in. But if I changed arms, the slow one would become fast and fast would be slow.
Well, even on my, I have a Vespa scooter. First thing that broke on it was the clock. I don't know if the universe doesn't want me to know what time it is or what. I'm like, okay.
That's a good excuse. Though. I can't keep time. That is good. Um, so tell me about your tours. What do you do for people for tours? Where do you take
Well, I
them to?
haven't been able to do a tour now for almost 2 years, you know? Um, so I've really just been doing, I have a show that I do. I'd love to have you come say hi on one of my shows too. But what I basically do is my shows are very focused on young children and young adults that
Hmm.
have the gift, but that are afraid of the gift. That I think we all were. And I try and answer questions and work with them so that they're no longer afraid of their gift. Because um, I think that parents can be very judgmental without realizing they're doing this and make their kids feel very badly about being gifted. And so I want them to know they have, me to talk to and they can ask me questions. And so I'm planning on doing a show next week. I haven't done one for quite a while, with the holidays and everything, it went a little crazy. But, I really like to work with young adults and children because I think that I would say, and I'd love your input on this, that probably 80% of children have the gift and they outgrow it by age probably 5 to 7. Some of it, I think, is because their parents kind of force it out of them, and others just outgrow it probably naturally. But there are a few of us that never outgrow it.
Right. And I agree 100%. And I talk about this all the time too. Kids are born with it, but it gets taught out of us because everybody's told that's your imaginary friend.
Yeah.
Not so much. This is a real spirit, real, and I'm getting real information. And I think it's just, again, I'm the preacher on this. In our Western non-mystical society, where all the focus put on our logical left brain and took it away from our creative, artistic, spiritual, I can see dead people right brain,
Yes.
it just got sucked out of us. It didn't get sucked out of me. It didn't get sucked out of you. But yeah, encourage your kids. I love that you do that. I love that you do that.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it needs to come back, I mean, in all honesty, I think when COVID, first came around, um, I think it knocked us all for a loop. And, then we were able to kind of sort of come back. And then, I was really planning on doing tours and January was all going to begin again. And now, unfortunately, due to the latest strain, I don't know when I'm going to be doing tours again. I hope by February because I miss meeting people. And, what my tours consist of is allowing your average person to get hands on. They can touch the tools, they can see that this stuff is real. Because the difference, again, between you and I is your confidence is a lot higher than mine is too. When people say, oh, this isn't real, I'm like, okay, whatever. But when the tools say it's real, and when it verifies it, then I'm like, haha. So it's kind of my revenge of showing people this is real. It's scientifically proven. And I show people over and over again that this is real.
Yeah, no, I love that. And again, I was never been a tool person. And then when I started working like ghost adventures, and again, I'm not touching that stuff. That stuff's in another room. But
Yeah.
it is such validation because if I'm sitting there going, the ghost is waving their arms above their head and they're dancing on the table, and everybody would believe me or not believe me or go, yeah, right. Now there's this thing called an SLS camera with
Yes.
Billy in the other room. That's literally no direct connection and showing a ghost on the table with their arms going back and forth. It's like
Yeah.
that's exactly what I see. Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
and
Very much so. Very
and
much. Very good validation.
and and our spirits. What I'm thinking, even like simple cell phone spirits, are starting to really learn equipment. Are you thinking? Do you find that like?
Very
I,
much. They're
then
manipulating, especially the
yeah.
Ovilus. I really feel like I'm getting a lot of repeat words and I'm getting, years ago when I first started doing my tour, I had this guy Bishop. And Bishop, I met him on Hollywood Boulevard because I used to do Hollywood Boulevard tours. And I would not say he attached himself to me, but he loved my equipment. And this guy would basically, every single thing I would do, Bishop would come on the Ovilus, it would come on the spirit box. And I kind of really feel that there are certain spirits now that are doing the same thing. And they're kind of really using my box as a communication, because I've been doing a lot of private houses lately for the last December, November, and really, helping people with their houses. But one of mine will come on and I'm like, just ignore them. That's one of mine. So it's not one of your ghosts, it's one of mine. They just come with me occasionally. Yeah.
I love that. So, and I know last time when we did, you had some new equipment. Is equipment coming in harder and faster, new stuff, inventions and stuff? Because there is such a focus on the paranormal.
I really feel there's been kind of the last 6-7 months. No, I always try and come up with new inventions myself. And I don't know if I have the perfect setup now, but I really feel like for the first time, because I'm always looking for the next best thing, but I don't feel like I need anything anymore.
Wow. That's pretty great. You got it all.
It's pretty cool. Like, I feel like I've got everything covered. They're not going to get away. I've got them.
So if anybody's interested in this world, so this is kind of an educational show. So somebody's going, dang, because I have a lot of my witchy people and my spiritual people that usually listen to this, and they're going, well, dang, I want to be a ghost hunter. I want a spirits. What would your recommendation be for somebody who, again, doesn't know this world?
I say, number one, always be very careful what you wish for. Be very careful with what you're playing with, because you don't want anything to get attached to you, and that's something that people that don't know what they're doing, including myself, it's happened. And it's a very unpleasant thing when a spirit actually attaches themselves to you. So be very weary. And there are a lot of things you don't need to buy. There's a lot of free things you can use that are just as effective as a lot of my gear. I feel like Patty's stuck.
Am I stuck?
Yeah.
I'm not stuck from my side, but maybe I'm stuck. We haven't seen Rob. We'll just hold for 1 second.
Okay, let's hold for a second.
Wait, we're stuck.
Yeah.
You know, stuck. We're stuck. We're stuck. Okay.
Okay. Pick up with the kind of things you can do for free. Okay. Okay. Are we good to go? I'm still up.
Yes. Oh, wait. She said the kind of stuff you do for free.
Yeah.
I just said Patty. I'm ready.
Okay. Patty's. Oh, there you are. Okay. Whoa. Okay. What did we do? Okay.
Rob.
No, there's no electronics that screw up with us too. No, we're fine. No problem here whatsoever. All right. Okay. Should I go ahead and start? Okay. So there are so many devices you can use that are absolutely free. And some of them we have. Most of them we have. One would be a candle. If there's a spirit here with us, can you please flicker the candle, blow out the candle? Okay. Number two, I know you know this one, the common household flashlight. Turn the flashlight on. If there's a spirit here with us, please turn off the flashlight. Okay. Again, absolutely free. Absolutely free. And lastly, and of course, my favorite, because I'm I love audio. I love sound. Your phone. It's a great digital recorder. If you don't have a digital recorder, do an EVP session. Digital picks up what we can't hear.
Yeah, that is amazing. And that is great. And I kind of like that. If you have a plain old flashlight, if anybody's skeptical, like, oh, it's crazy and these fake ghost machines are good. This is a flashlight. You pull your little mag light out or whatever. So I love
do whatever you got, preferably it has a button, so that they're able to turn the button on or turn the button off, that type of thing. You don't want like a huge lantern, because that'd be a lot of work for a ghost to do, but
fancy. And what about now, if everybody's like, because you said be very careful, you have to be careful, you can get attachments and stuff. I always say, who are you going to call when you get scared? What? You're going to go back to your grown-up belief system. Do you do protection techniques? I'm a queen of sigils and symbols and protection oil back in my head. I go in well armed. Is there anything you use? And I know there's a billion ways to do it or not do it. What are your thoughts?
I use the white light, my mother, I'm third generation intuitive, and my mother always taught me, when I'd see a ghost, I have this Hungarian mother, very Eastern European, who she'd be like, yeah, that's great. You have the gift, whatever, deal with it. That was my mom. So she did say, if you ever got scared, surround yourself with whatever you consider the white light to be. I don't want to turn people off because I'm not a religious person. It's whatever the light of a higher power is to you. So, and I surround myself with angels. I surround myself with thoughts of my deceased family members, my spirit guides, and they protect me when I go into things, and that's a good feeling. I mean, a very interesting thing. I don't know if you remember what the last night we were at the Biltmore when things got a little heated. I got a pretty bad scratch in one of the rooms. Do you remember that? And
Yes.
I came up to you and I'm like, Patti, I got nailed. It was right here on my side. It hurt for days. And you gave me some blue stuff to drink and it worked. I mean, it went away, but it was very interesting to me that even with all the protection I had on me, they were still able to, somebody wanted my attention. They wanted to hurt me and they did.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you do have to be careful. I've had cartilage ripped off my ribs. I've been thrown into things. I've been, I had somebody burst into flames on another one.
Wow.
Take it seriously.
Yeah.
Take it seriously.
Yeah. No joke.
And start easy. Don't start out at the Cecil Hotel.
Never go to the Cecil Hotel. Yeah.
Unless you're with us. Or
yeah,
we go.
We're probably going to go. I have a feeling we're going to do what you said we're going to do, and we're going to go try and clear that place. So.
I really want to create this big thing. I think people will come from everywhere to do this.
I agree. And I think just people we know in LA too. We have quite a good crew that would work with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yep. All right. We're doing it, you guys. I'm going to come up with a date. We're going to gather at the Cecil. I guess we could try to do it with permissions. They probably won't let us in. They probably won't. So then maybe you just ask for forgiveness. We just show up. I don't know. Well, I guess we shouldn't talk about that on air. But
yeah, let's not turn ourselves in until we get in trouble. Okay.
Right. So anyway, this is so great. So tell me about your thoughts about the Queen Mary, because that's one everybody always goes to. Ooh, one of the most haunted places.
Well, the Queen Mary is where I picked up one of the first entities that got stuck to me was at the Queen Mary. And that place it's beyond haunted. The energy there is definitely better than the Cecil. Uh-oh. Stuck again.
Damn ghosts. Damn
Oh,
ghosts.
You're back. You're back. Okay,
You're back.
So I guess I should pick up that the Queen Mary. Okay, I'll go back to the Queen Mary. The Queen Mary is very haunted, similar to the Cecil, but a lot less negative energy there. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, definitely. There's happy energy there too, more happy energy.
There is. I think people partied. I think it was cool. I think, it's an amazing, amazing place to go to. I've always enjoyed myself there. I used to go there when the bar was open and go have a few drinks, and it's a nice energy there. I ate dinner there too. They have beautiful food there years ago.
Yeah, no, I grew up, local. This is where my high school proms were. This is where people would get married all the time. I used to produce a murder mystery on the ship, so I know it in all aspects.
Wow. Yeah.
I saw the ghost when I was in high school, and we're talking a long time ago. When I was in high school and we were at the prom, I snuck into the pool area. I don't think you even do that anymore, but
no,
decades ago you could. And I saw the ghost. I saw the kid ghost at my high school prom, dressed in a stupid prom dress.
Wow. Yeah, I also had an experience with that kid ghost there as well, when they used to let you go into that area, but it's been closed off. Last time we were there, I actually asked them about that, and I think it's unsafe. Unfortunately, there's a lot unsafe on that boat right now. It's actually said to be sinking.
I know. So that's the thing we did together, but not together.
Not together. No.
guys, they actually, the almost the scary part to me was that we were like, what, 8 people on this huge ship all by ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, and
No
we were
from
getting
every
so
room
much.
open. We go to the ballrooms, go to the engine room. All the hotel rooms were unlocked, and it was Elton and Corey and the guys, and
Yeah,
one guy from the ship and us.
yeah, I mean, that was crazy. I mean, I feel bad because I feel like I tired them out before they ever got to you because we were getting so much stuff and they knew you were coming, but nobody wanted to leave because it was just insane the amount of evidence that we were getting.
Yeah, no, I know. And you guys went and went and went and went and went, and they were tired out when they got to me. But
Yeah, I was too. I was driving home. I'm like, oh, I need to stay awake. It drains you when you do that stuff.
it does. It does drain you. It's energy is energy, and they use our energy just like they drain our watches and our batteries and our cameras. They drain
Yeah,
us.
I think that's a really good point too to bring up to people that watch you is, that's a good way of telling if something's attached themselves to you or if something's around you and you're dealing with this stuff. It's not like a light and easy job that we have, either one of us.
No.
I mean, I get drained sometimes. I have to sleep for like 12 hours to get back my energy that has been drained out of me. So it's not an easy job. It's a very I love it, don't get me wrong, but it's very physically and mentally it takes a toll.
Physically, mentally, spiritually, energetically, all of the
All the above, yeah.
but
Yeah.
we love it.
Love it.
So anyway, I know time is flying, flying, flying.
Wow.
So I know. So tell people where they can find you. Tell them about your show. Tell them everything where people can find you.
Okay, well, my webpage is lindatheghost.com. And, I will hopefully again be hosting tours. I prefer people to be 18 or over because we do deal with real spirits. And I've had kids that have freaked out. And the last thing I ever want to do is scare a child. So it's not really made for kids, but we're hoping to be back February, fingers crossed. Also, going to be doing a show next week. I think I'll do next Thursday. And you can find me. I'll advertise it. I'm on my YouTube page, which is also Linda the Ghost Hunter. And guess what Instagram is too? Linda the Ghost Hunter. So really easy to find me as Linda the Ghost Hunter. But, I really hope that you and I, at some point, I would love to work with a project with you where we go investigate something and we can actually be on the same floor and do things together.
At the same time, now you sit down and you come here. I know it's like, well, let's do it. Let's do it for my Paraflix Network. Let's do something. Let's plan it.
Let's do it. Let's go. There's so much in your neighborhood and my old neighborhood that I would love to investigate with you because we're both such Hollywood girls that I really think we can get a lot of Hollywood information. Even though I sold out, I moved to North Hollywood. I'm still a Hollywood girl.
Still North Hollywood, regular Hollywood, West Hollywood.
Sure, as long as it's got Hollywood in it, I can live there.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you guys. Check out Linda the Ghost Hunter, social media, her website, her YouTube page. She's truly amazing. And we have lots of stuff to talk about. So you're just going to have to come back. Okay.
I'll definitely come back. Patti, thank you so much for having me. It was so good to spend time with you. And, Patti is the real thing. She's a joy to work with. So I'm glad we actually got to spend some time together.
Like minds stick together. So there you go. Always do. We're pretty fun. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for being part of the Witching Hour.